Yes, after clearing our whole concepts related to distance and displacement, now we can move forward towards the motion, and the motion part, that is the uniform motion and non-uniform motion. There are two kinds of motion. Yes, earlier we have discussed about types of motion, that is circulatory and oscillatory. You have heard about that, no? That previously we have talked about it. That is different thing, okay? In that types of motion, we are having the same kind. One can be a uniform, another one can be a non-uniform. In the same manner, like we have discussed the quantities, variety of quantities are here, and each and every quantity is actually giving you some perspective about some quantity, okay? Like length is going to give you the measurement of the distance only, okay? And the kgs obviously giving you the mass, okay? And weight, okay? So in the same manner, but these all quantities can be distinguished into two parts, okay? That is the scalar and the vector quantity. But here in this case, motion can be identified by the two assumptions, that is the uniform motion and non-uniform motion. What is uniform motion now, students? So when a body travels equal distance in equal interval of time, then the motion is said to be a uniform motion. Let me explain it with a certain diagram to you, okay? Let us having a graph like this, okay? Now in this you can see there is a distance and time graph. Distance is on y-axis and time is on x-axis. A body is moving with certain speed, okay? Let's suppose there is a car, and a car is actually moving here on road, and earlier it was traveling 5 kilometer and it is taking 1 hour. Okay, that is too much gap, ठीक है, but example के लिए consider कर लेते हैं. In another hour, again it has traveled 5 kilometer. That means it is covering the same amount of distance in same amount of time. So here is the example of uniform motion. And according to this, if we want to represent it in the graphical form, okay, why we are going to discuss it in graphical form? Lots of students feel it very tough कि ग्राफ्स आ गए, ये तो मुझे समझ ही नहीं आता है, ऐसा बच्चे सोचते हैं. बट इट इज वेरी इजी डियर, बिकॉज ग्राफ्स गिव्स यू अ होल रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ द होल जर्नी. लाइक आप जैसे डायग्राम्स के थ्रू समझाते हो किसी को, बट यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू एक्सप्लेन इट इन योर होल नोटबुक, इन होल बुक्स. Like a car is traveling like this, and for the 5 kilometers you are going to make a diagram. No, we cannot do that. So a small representation of any live example gives you the format of graph. Okay, so here if we put the x-axis as time and the y-axis as the distance in kilometers, okay, and the car is, let's suppose, moving with the 1 kilometer in 1 hour. So in another 1 hour it is again going to cover the 1 kilometer, but together it contains 2 kilometer, right? And in another 1 hour it is going to cover the 1 more kilometer, but together these all will become 3 kilometer. So assigning the equal position to each and every hour again and again, we are going to make this graph. Okay, so see here in the first case you can see that for first one, so that is the 1 kilometer is covered here. For second hour again 1 more kilometer is covered, so we have reached to 2. For third hour again we have reached to the third value, because 1 more kilometer, 2 plus 1 is 3, is covered. And after joining all these points we are getting this straight line. Yes, so this straight line, it shows you whenever you are going to see this kind of graph, this straight line, you suppose it is as the uniform motion. So after discussing about the uniform motion, let us discuss about the non-uniform motion now. So what is non-uniform motion? Obviously it is understood that we were earlier covering the equal distance in equal interval of time, but now no equal distance will be covered in that equal interval of time, because you are not going to change the time. Time is not in your control, but you can control your speed. You can control the distance you are traveling, okay, according to the time. Let's suppose we are having one boy that is traveling with a certain speed, okay. Now, it is covering in 1 hour 1 kilometer, and in the second phase of 1 hour, it is covering 2 kilometers now. But earlier it has covered 1 kilometer and now 2 kilometers. So we can say that the distance traveled in equal interval of time is not equal. What is the graphical representation of the non-uniform motion is this. Because it is not going to cover equal distance, so there is no straight line will be there. Let me tell you one example. According to this, you can even frame your own graph. Okay. So a boy is covering a distance of like 1 hour gap is here. Okay. We are earlier considering the time gap here, but in the first case he is covering 1 kilometer, and in second one he is covering 2 kilometer, and again 1 kilometer. So his speed is, first of all, his speed is like this, and like if we are making a graph here according to the time, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 kilometer, 2, 3, 4. Okay, starting from here, 1 kilometer. So 1 hour mein 1 kilometer. It will be here. In second phase of our 2 kilometer will be here. And then again 1 more kilometer, that is here. So it is not a straight line. See, some minor gap is here, some minor tilt is here. Right? In the same manner, if somebody is going to be stopped, like in another hour, it has been covered 0 kilometer. Okay, it is not going to move now. So another 1 hour, he is again still at the same position, because this point is giving you the idea of how much kilometer he has been covered. So he is again at the same position. Whatever distance he has covered, he is not going to move. So the graph will be like this now. It is shifting towards the rest position. Yes, so now we can say that any kind of graph that has not a straight line like this is actually a non-uniform. So these two are the examples for the non-uniform graph, and earlier one like this, I have told you that is the uniform motion.